Peace world, what's the deal? It's your man Do right here. I just want to give y'all a brief rundown on what this thing is all about. Basically, I just reached out to a few artists in my community that I feel like is doing their thing here, and I wanted to provide a platform of unity, you understand? So I asked a few questions just to see where their head's at, and I give the viewers an opportunity to network, to build, to purchase beats, to purchase features, to attend shows, to show support, just to unify the whole music scene here. Without unity, we go nowhere. All my personal information is at the very end of this video. Contact me if you want to get on the next series, or contact any of the artists if you want to be a part of their movement. Without further ado, let's get to it.
Well, I grew up, 80s baby, grew up when hip hop was really taking shape, and I had cousins. My cousin used to always have tapes, listening to rap, listen to a lot of Bay Area rappers, Too Short, E40, things like that. So I seen that when them guys was independent, and that was like some of my first memories. Also with my parents, like, they would take me to like see, hip hop movies, or I would see people break dance, and it was just part of the culture, so it's always been part of my life.
What got me into music was, honestly, I started making music when I was 13. My brother, he used to rap. Well, he still rap. Michael Millions, that's my brother, blood brother. And he was rapping, and he was dope. I thought he was like, one of the best rappers. Even to this day, he's still like my favorite rapper. But at the time, it was kind of like everybody wanted to rap. Everybody wanted to rap. Everybody wanted to, be the star. And what I've always been more so attracted to, more so than the lyricism, was the production of it. And being that everybody wanted to rap, and especially my brother wanted to rap, I wanted to figure out a way that I could best assist that effort that they had going on. And the best way that I felt like I could assist was by doing the work that ultimately nobody really wanted to do or take the time to do. At this point, I already kind of been toying around with beats. So I was using like the software called Hip Hop EJ. That was the first joint, and then software called Acid. Acid, I want to say 2.0. It might have been 2.0. Might have been 4.0. I don't know. I'm sitting there just looking at it. I'm like, yo, that looks like what I need to be working with. And I'm just looking over his shoulder, and he was like, yo, I could give you the the disc or whatever, so you could download it. And I was like, word. And from that particular point on, it was just like, that was history.
Well, I got into music because as a small child, and I probably subconsciously got into it because I always heard music around the house as a kid. And then I think my dad messed it all up because he started buying me tape recorders, any type of musical equipment. And what I started doing is I didn't have a studio, so I would make a homemade studio in the house by recording on one tape recorder.
That's it.
That's it. Another box, and recording from the box and singing with that. So that's how I got started in music. And then as I got through high school, I joined a little girl group, and then we started doing music that way.
Okay.
All I know is right now, but I've seen, different things take shape over the years. Things change. It's natural. It's part of life. So how I feel about right now, I'm the type of person, it just is what it is. The game is going to change. The world constantly changes. You just got to adapt. So I don't feel like it's worse. Of course, it's stuff, when I look at the past, it's stuff that I enjoyed from before. But, part of life is just being able to constantly evolve. So just trying to roll with the punches. It's good, the digital thing is good. You could get your music further, establish relationships. I do feel on one aspect, though, that like not the quality of music, but like the appreciation that the fan has for music has changed, because it just seems real disposable now when the power of the internet has made things instantly accessible. So I feel like it has changed people's mentality when it comes to how they appreciate and hold on to music or anticipate music. Now it's like you got to be able to constantly be doing stuff to keep people's attention, whereas before you could drop a solid body of work and that could carry you for a while. Now you got to constantly be doing things to stay innovative. So
I feel like, you know, it has its high points and it has its low points, you know, and I feel like what gets pushed out into the forefront and into people's speakers is probably a lot of the low points, you know, to where I feel like people feel like the music has no content. The music is very, you know, high level. It's not very in depth. But I also feel like a lot of that is due to the fact that a lot of people don't really search for music or don't really go out of the common ways to get music, to locate new music. So, but my overall feel about the music scene in general is that, you know, it's a lot going on. It's a lot of crazy stuff going on. It's a lot of, you know, because music should be ultimately reflect what's going on in the time. You know, so when you listen to the radio and you hear a lot of stuff going on in the radio that doesn't reflect what we going through right now, it makes you feel like it's not, or the people who are creating this music aren't paying attention, you know what I mean? So I just feel like right now we're in a state of unconsciousness, you know, and but I feel like at the end of the day, I feel like all you really can do as an artist trying to be within this game is continue to maintain some level of consciousness, or try to figure out a way to deliver a conscious message in a palatable form for a person who might not, you know, be so conscious.
I think the current state of music is really sad. It's like it lacks authenticity. Because everything is not as original as it once was.
Yeah, man.
And I think that, and I'm not picking on any particular genre because I think every genre we need.
Right.
However, when you're bombarded by one, then it tends to weaken everything else around you. So it's like what was powerful before is not as powerful now because we're only listening to one type of sound. Everybody sounds the same.
Good answer.
I work with a lot of cats, you know, signed and unsigned cats. I work with, you know, Skills, Gallo, Nicholas F, Red Rum, all cats in my charged up camp, you know, Black Lyric, Fred, Reggie, Will, just to name a few. But as far as like cats that I haven't, I like you know, you got several different types of hip hop genres out here now.
Yeah.
So I feel like as far as artists out there, I like Divine Council, Versace Chachi, Jay Slim, and the Realest, you know, just to name a few. Those are all cats that I see them make a move. Evan Barlow, Cadillac Cat. These are just, you know, cats I see out there. There's cats from 7-5, you know, a lot of cats. Shout out to Jay Clyde, he's a dope producer. Cats from the, you know, up the way, like Northern Virginia, you know, like, I don't know where JIDK is from. I think he's dope. Gold Link is dope. Got cats like Maestro, Young Mo, you know.
Dope.
Salute everybody doing their thing. It's a lot of dope cats out there, man.
Well, I'm gonna go down the list because, you know, I'm gonna go down the list.
All good.
I work with, of course, my AGN fam, Michael Millions, Nicholas F, Radio B, for sure. I worked with Noah O. I worked with Gallo. I worked with Illa Scorsese. I probably already said his name. I worked with Destiny the Chef, Mills. I work with Kane up in the DMV. I'm about to be, you know, put in a good work with some work with Super Nike Nando out there in DC. I want to work with everybody, you know what I mean? Like, I think the goal is is to try to keep yourself busy.
Absolutely.
Try to make sure that, you know, people see you as a commodity when it comes to the production. Like, I want to work with a lot of people, but you know, a lot of the people who I want to work with now, like my aim and my goal for the artists who I want to work with is very high at this particular point. You know, I want to work with the Clips, you know, not the Clips, let me say, you know, I want to work with Malice. Oh yeah, John Bibbs I worked with. I actually have a record that we were supposed to be working on with Malice. But I still want to work with Malice. I still want to work with, you know, other producers. I want to work with Bink. I want to work with
Yo, Bink is crazy.
Knots for sure. I want to work with you know, I just want to work with anybody. I really, you know, I think at this particular point, I really want to kind of stretch it out a little bit more.
Okay.
And, you know, even further outside of the Virginia area. I work with, you know, Math Ragazzino up in New York, Brooklyn. Shout out to Math. Oh yeah, and my homies, you know, Steady Fan, Ease, you know, Ease of Leo, Ace Nero. All these cats, you know. So I mean, I work with a lot of people, you know, a lot of people come through my studio, and you know, I just really want to work with anybody who's really down to allow me to be name brand. One of the things I hate, if I ever had the opportunity to work with anybody, since y'all watching,
yeah.
If I ever had an opportunity to work with you, please, you know, and this probably I'm pretty sure most producers can feel this. Please, don't ask me to create something that sounds like somebody else's work.
Man, listen.
I work very hard, very long to create the sound that I have, and that's really what I want to deliver to you as a consumer, as a potential client.
I worked with a bunch of talented people in the DMV area. I worked with Kia Bennett.
All right.
Illa, Erica J, Clef Dollars, the late great Clef Dollars, Kaneda, Joey Gallo, Noah O. So it's been a few people that I have had the opportunity to work with. I haven't worked with, I would say, John Bibbs.
Yo, he's dope.
I love to work with him.
He's dope.
He's pretty dope.
He should see this, so hopefully he'll reach out. You know what I mean? John Bibbs is dope.
Yeah, I've always thought he was dope.
Okay.
As far as out here, like I said, it's different. It's different people who like on different waves. So it's like one crowd might be aware of somebody, but somebody else, you know, you might have a whole nother crowd who don't even listen to their style of music. But again, shout out, like, you know, cats like Ed the Realist. He has in the inner city, he got a good fan base. Cats like Jay Slim, Versace Chachi, that's my dude. I haven't worked with him yet, but he got crazy buzz like in Europe. He's over in Europe for like, he's done a few tours over there.
Oh, okay.
High Council, again, them dudes is like staying working, Golf Money. Those are all dudes that I see is like working, you know, whether or not we make the same type of music.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know,
No
not
doubt.
a hater, man. I show respect what's due. So
Yeah.
those all cats like grinding, man. They got a big buzz, you know.
I mean, I think, you know, I gotta name, you know, my crew, because, you know, I feel like a lot of them, all of them have put in a lot of work, you know. Association of Great Minds, AGM, Nicholas F., Michael Millions, Radio B. I mean, and that's just, honestly, you gotta think, like, and the reason why I say that is because a lot of the stuff that we do receives some beautiful attention nationally. I mean, we just released a record called Ali that got picked up by Double XL, The Source, and all these, you know, outlets. And I think, you know, the one thing that's kind of like disheartening is that, you know, we get the national attention and we get this national love, but sometimes it feels like within the city it's not really seen, or it's not really peeped or appreciated. So, you know, I just, I just feel like I would love for our city to champion our artists, so therefore they don't feel like they have to leave to blow up and then come back here to receive the love that we should have gotten when we was already here.
Absolutely.
But outside of that, I mean, outside of my team, I feel like Kane, he's receiving a lot of good love. I mean, he was on Static Select last project, I believe, and I mean, we got people who've left here. You know, Sonora, she's out there on the West Coast. But she's doing some really dope things with her music as well. But it's definitely some dope artists in Virginia that are really creating a lot of buzz for themselves. You know,
No doubt.
I think the biggest thing that this area lacks is the infrastructure. I don't think it's not even a matter of artists working together, because I've worked with a lot of artists, you know what I'm saying? It's really about the infrastructure that's in place to build a scene. And we're talking about a music scene, you're talking about independent musicians who are able to function without the need of getting a record deal.
Right.
That's what, you know, when this cats are getting money and eating our music, so that's feeding producers, that's feeding, you know, studios, that's feeding the clubs. Like, it takes all of that together. It takes it takes the cats who in the radio keeping their ear to the street, you know what I mean? Not just to the people who they like. It takes the clubs, like, you know, or the venues, you know, when it's major artists coming, the promoters gotta be willing to have the cats who got the biggest buzz or really the strongest fan base, you know, to have these cats opening for the major artists, not just somebody who paid. Like, it's several things, you know what I mean?
No
it
doubt.
takes the press, you know, the press with radio and media, them concentrating, and it takes writers, like, keeping their ear to the street. We don't really have no writers out here, but shout out to the Cheese Movement, like writers who cover Virginia hip hop. It's writers who from Virginia who work in major publications, but I'm talking about people who actively are about, like, studying the scene, writing about the scene, promoting the scene, because you have that for rock here. There are rock groups from Richmond that are eating, that went gold,
no
that
doubt.
are independent, you know what I'm saying? Like, the only genre from Virginia that really haven't done that is hip hop.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
People get deals off of hip hop periodically, but it's like, if you start at the bottom and just go to the top without there really being the infrastructure in place, like, there's nothing to fall back on. That's
man.
So as far as what I'm doing, that's like my mentality, is building my team strong, having the right team in place. You know, whether or not we got a record deal or not, we always constantly, like, trying to start new things, whether it's new businesses or just, you know, do things in our city and in our community.
And it kind of piggybacks off that last question. You know, I think what needs to happen is for people to champion the artists that are here right now. And you know, it's kind of understandable as to why people don't, you know, necessarily champion, you know, the music here, because, like I was saying earlier, people don't necessarily get their music, you know, by going online and searching and really kind of getting into the music and, you know, trying to find, you know, the next new artist. Like, really, people are very, in a sense, and not to call people lazy, but people are kind of lazy in the sense of how they come across their music. If it's on the radio, then that's who they listening to.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And that's where it stops.
And that's where it stops.
Yeah.
And they really don't go any deeper or do any type of searching. And, you know, I think it's a funny thing, because we always talk about, as artists, you were like, yo, support the artist, support the artist, support the artist, you know, and that's cool and all, but you got to think about it like this. If somebody came here to us and was like, hey, you know, I want you to support this bridge that's being built in Indiana, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to be like, why? You know, I'm in Richmond, Virginia. Why do I need to support something over there in Indiana? You know what I mean? You have no tie to it. You really don't have a care to have a tie to it.
No doubt.
You know, and it's no different than how we look at this music. You know what I'm saying? How people look at music. You know, people don't have a tie to it. And if you mean it, you got to tell them, hey, they got to go do this particular work to find your music, or go download this app. You know, people aren't really trying to do that. You know, so I think what really happens is it's like, you know, you really need people to feel like, one, that it's something that they can effortlessly support. Like, it's not something that they have to go out their way to get. And I think one of the hardest things to do, I mean, being that people do kind of get their music from the, you know, get their music from the radio, it's like, you know, you would love to say, hey, radio DJs, play our shit, you know, play our stuff, so therefore, you know, we can make sure we getting the attention of the people within our city. I mean, and what we're realizing, I think, is that the DJs who are on the radio really don't have that type of pull or don't have that capability unless if they're on, you know, doing the local radio set. You know what I mean? Shout out to my man, DJ Skip. You know, he actually just played Walls of Jericho, the record I produced for Nicholas F. on his last project, Trifling.
Dope.
So he played that on the radio, and that was Mega Love. That was actually the first record, I think, that I have produced that actually hit the radio.
Okay.
But I think that, you know, I think that that's one of the things that I think we need in order to, you know, cultivate that environment within Richmond, is creating an environment to where people can, you know, get the music, absorb the music, and then kind of involve themselves within the music. You know, that environment has to be created, and it's still, you know, it's being created. And you know, to answer the second part of that question, what am I doing? What I'm doing ultimately is creating an environment to where the artists can come create their music in a place to where they can create it effortlessly. You know, I'm more so behind the scenes, you know what I mean?
No doubt.
But, you know, and what I typically do is I try to also educate, you know, those who may be interested in what I do, you know, and try to, you know, if they need to know something, they need to learn something, they need this type of software, if they really show some interest, the only thing that I could really do is make sure that I assist them in getting whatever tools, materials they need. If I have it and I can give it, you know, give it to them, so therefore that they can continue to push the culture forward in their own ways.
Yes, sir.
And then, you know, of course, we have our AGM. You know, every year we have our show, Flag on the Moon, which we will be putting on again in December, which is a show that, you know, it showcases, you know, not only my team, AGM, but we also, you know, create a platform for people to be able to, one, be a part of the show, you know, and you know, be a part of the show, open to join up, and it's not one of those type things to where we making you pay to play.
Nah, you got sell
tickets. Know what I'm saying? It ain't even about that. It's really just more so, hey, if you really want to be on the show, hey, advertise, you know, show it, let people know, you know, like last year I had for Flag on the Moon last year, because I had produced, I released a beat tape called Pray Dreams, probably about a year ago now. But last year around this time, what I did was I held a contest to where, you know, I said, hey, you know, download my project, write a record to one of the beats on the project. Whoever has the dopest record, you know, they'll be able to perform with me during my set at the Flag on the Moon show.
Oh, that's
and
right.
You know, and through that, you know, of course I had a lot of love entries, you know, and you know, ultimately, you know, it created an element to where people could reach out to me. You know, I could build relationships with these up and coming artists, you know, just to kind of, you know, see and hear what's going on in, you know, in these different elements, and kind of get a good idea of what's going on in Richmond.
Well, I think one of the things to unify the music scene is, you know, we have to constantly give each other shout outs. Like, if you think of a certain artist is dope, very talented, you know, definitely don't be afraid to share that with other people.
No doubt.
And also just to support each other. Like if one of your artists that you know or fellow musicians is having a show somewhere, like go out and show support.
I could dig it.
Yeah.
You can find me on social media, charged up Noah O. It's charged up like a battery. Noah like Noah's Ark. The letter O, charged up Noah O. That's Facebook, Twitter. Noah -O on Facebook fan page. Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, all that. It's the shit I used to dream about. Chair by the window, mama's crib, I was steaming out. Thinking about Virginia's in jail, I gotta make it out. Writing my rhymes, if I could dream it, I could live it. Cause we ain't have no silver spoons or golden tickets. Knowing I'm surrounded by wolves who try and get it, but nobody paint the picture of truth like I depicted. It was me and Steve blowing trees in them staircases. He ain't had no ski mask, so he barefaced it. He was from Michigan, I was from Cali. Couldn't score, but I could rebound like John Sally. I role play game season like Old Bay. Just some youngins trying to get out the trap like OJ. Running in my backpack like oh yay. Mama cried on the day when they freed OJ. It's cause she went to school with him. I grew up with them thugs, I was a fool with them. Young Ryu you knew it had that RU in them. These old heads saying what we gon' do with them. I was like fad before the deal, no clues in them. If you don't see them around me now, it's cause I'm through with them. It's the Trilipino, I'm the Filipino Scarface. But I ain't dying from a hell of bullets or a car chase. From RIC before this became RVA. They tried to throw me on my feet with an ounce of yay. The Lord took it, put a microphone in its place. Told me to give him perspective of why we in this space. My peoples came in on the boat. But now we in this water, we just trying to stay afloat. They herding us like sheep, but I'm knowing I'm the GOAT. I'm pop mixed with jigger, realest shit I never wrote. No old the Trilipino. Yeah. Yeah. I'm on the hunt for the money. I never chase anything to run from me. Rib touching, showing my grill. Nothing funny though I'm fresh. I remember them days when I was bummy on the hunt. For the money. For the money. Pressure buzz pipes, I'm just trying to keep the lights on. Mama said let the water drip, keep the pipes warm. Watch what you're singing, songs that'll make the fight swarm. Me and L connect like Comcast via Com Babylon for me and my partners.
Name of the beat's called Dream Voice, produced by Name Brand. Follow me on Twitter, namebrand_PRMG. Follow me on Instagram, namebrand_music. You can follow me on Snapchat. I believe that's namebrand_music as well. Make sure you go check Trifling by Nicholas F. Make sure you go get that Beautiful by Michael Millions, which I produce a lot on that particular project. I produce a lot on all his projects. And on Trifling Joint, I produced the first 2 records on that project. Make sure you go check Michael Millions and Radio B, 10,000 Hours. They just released that not too long ago. And just be on the lookout. Be on the lookout. Be on the lookout for stuff coming from me very soon. Also, go check my beat tape, Pray Dreams. It's on my SoundCloud. It's on all the media outlets. All those projects that I mentioned before on all the media outlets. Apple Music, Google Play, Tidal. All of them. So just go do your research. Whip out your phone and just go check us out. You know what I mean?
Good stuff, man.
Instagram under Shappeezy, that's CHAPPEEZY. And you can also find me on Twitter under Shappeezy, CHAPPEEZY, the same name. And I don't have anything out recently, but if you want to check out, for those who haven't checked out the Chappelle Show, I do have the Chappelle Show mixtape.
Yeah, it's dope.
Inspired by Dave Chappelle Show.
Yeah.
And I'm working on something. Me and
Yeah.
Dolomic got something coming out soon. So stay tuned for that. And it's just gonna be amazing.
Let's do it.
Well, I'm a big Michael Jackson fan, so
I don't care if you
can
do that.
sing
It's good money.
awesome Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Looking in my mirror took me by surprise. I can't help but love you. You're an angel in disguise. I can't help it. If I wanted to, I wouldn't help it. Even if I could, can't help it. If I wanted to, wouldn't help it, no.